What up? I am broadcasting from a different neck of the woods today. I went out on a journey into my forest on my usual route behind my house, but it was a bog. It was all flooded. So I almost decided to go on a run instead, but something was calling me into the forest today. I just had a feeling that I needed to go sit on my bench and do some work there. And it turned out to be a very enchanting and charmed day out here, albeit muddy and a little chilly, but it's the perfect day. This day reminds me of the feeling of every Cure song, The Cure, the band The Cure, and many of the more melancholy Duran Duran songs. So that's kind of been my soundtrack today. Yeah, we are here for our romance oracle reading. I am at the airfield near my house, and I've never been down to this part of the park. And it's really cool because there's like this very cute little farm scene behind me, and there's like cherry blossoms, and there are like bales of hay. It's very I don't know. It's like kind of like a Van Gogh painting today, or something like Flemish. Feels very prairie-like. Can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but you know what I mean. Not parochial, but quaint. Getting there, closer, not quite. Let's get to the cards. So this follows suit on all the themes that we've had going on recently. It's like the Pisces influence over the month that came from that new moon has really sent us deep into the concaves of our subconscious to really dig through all the remainder of the residues that were left of, things that were maybe projected on us that aren't true for us, at least not anymore, or we're growing past it. The thing about Abraham leaving his father's house is that it's not that he had to throw the baby out with the bathwater and deny everything his father ever said. It's just that he had to go beyond the limits of his father's consciousness, and get out from beyond that limit, that roof or whatever. So yeah, we are working on healing a lot of those subconscious patterns and limiting beliefs that were planted in the past. Doing a lot of the root healing and breaking generational curses, and healing those sins of the generation so they don't go forward any longer. It's like this contamination in a spring that's just been pouring forth from cup to cup, generation after generation, and it's up to us to go to the head of that and the root of that and the source of that and cleanse what's causing the contamination, so you put an end to it, forevermore. And each of us have this sort of lot of matter to change in this life, and it's this darkness and density that we're given, and it's just each of us have our portion as soldiers for the Lord, essentially, and we each are given a bag of darkness to turn into light in this lifetime. And we can either choose to ignore it, and maybe at times it'll get swiped off the slate, but that's darkness that you never got to transmute, and not because you had to, because there's mercy and forgiveness, right? But because you wanted to, because you had a heart to fight for the light and change the world and the universe and existence for better. We're always trying to push those scales, from darkness to light, and we do that most efficiently by first changing our own darkness into light, healing the past, forgiveness, letting go, moving forward, lightening up, having faith beyond reason, and growing wisdom, and just being the happy fool that knows we know little and there's so much to learn, being malleable and tender and, generous of spirit. So yeah, so you might be a bit tender this week, but you might notice that a lot of these distant memories are coming up and you're kind of maybe seeing them in a different way, or seeing different depths and layers that you hadn't before and feeling differently about it. And so that's great. And that's all happening so that we can really put an end to the past, because it's like this whole new book, this whole new chapter of our life is starting. And I like to think of it as life, like the next season. And all the rules from before don't apply now, right? The old story doesn't apply. Like the old, paradigms, and, when you look at writing screenplays for like a series, it's like you have to refer back to the canon, what's true for the characters always, where can we not break canon? And I'm saying now, this jump on a new timeline, it's like you can break all the canon you want. Like it's a clean slate, go forward, you have a new consciousness that you can set out with. And so we have a new chance to approach our lives, approach our goals, our purpose, our art, our expression, our day-to-day, our every breath, our relationships from a new consciousness that we've been given. And so it's a new opportunity to create our world as a reflection of our inner landscape. And hopefully all this work that we're doing has brought us a sense of, at least a growing sense of peace and serenity, and glimpses to connections with like the feeling of unity and the greater cosmic connection and awareness of it all. And so hopefully we're getting glimpses of that, and it's getting easier. But yeah, every bit of layer and chain and vice and pattern from the past that we can offload just makes us lighter to ascend and awaken to more of the light of fulfillment and the light of the Creator that's like radiating from within you. That's where the real fulfillment comes from. And so when we can cultivate that deep fulfillment, when it comes from that eternal source that's unwavering, unchanging, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are around us. They can come and go, because our fulfillment is sustaining and eternal, because it's based on and connected through and coming from an eternal source. And so then the things that come into our lives that are in a true alignment, and they're for our highest good, and they light us up, and they're on our path and our purpose, like they come in and they're blessed and they're sustaining, because we're truly in resonance with them, and it's not something that's forced, right? It's not something that we have to maintain, and exhaust ourselves against, It's like, not that there's not challenges, there will be, but it's just, it feels right, It's not like you're always swimming upstream. And so so the last couple of weeks, just don't feel weird or bad or off if you've been feeling all of this old family stuff coming up. It's like, lend yourself to it so you can really get clear on what's your stuff, so that it doesn't cause upsets, right? So that you recognize it when it comes up, when you meet new people, or when you start approaching your relationship. Now you can see what's your stuff and what you need to own, and you can bring that into the communication when healthy communication needs to happen, right? And you don't have to project that onto a partner. You can take it into consideration, when you consider your needs, and how you show up for them as well, and accept them for who they are, but still hold standards and boundaries. And sometimes that means it's just, you have to decide whether the person is right or wrong for you. And with no further ado, the more we can heal our family issues, the more we set ourselves up for the possibility of having healthy relationships, healthy and thriving relationships. And part of our healing family issues, we always think about like healing the mother wound and healing the father wound, but I think that right now our inner child could use a lot of reassurance. And so I would suggest that you, in a meditative state, go back to your inner child that you've been witnessing in these memories, and be the adult you needed in that moment to like swoop into the situation, reassure you, comfort you, rewrite a new story together, or maybe swoop in and help the child avoid it altogether. Whatever helps you the best. But if this is coming up, then I think that, if you can if you're willing to do the work and you feel comfortable and it's not too traumatizing, you know, obviously get in touch with a therapist if you need to. Everybody's on a different spectrum of like where they are with this stuff. So, but yeah, meet your inner child there when you go into these moments and try to rewrite the story for yourself, starting there, and reassure the child with a compassionate, you know, new story, and you know, an explanation of, you know, what was really happening, so that they won't believe what the adult projected on them, you know. So just some tips there. Actually, last night's video went into a lot of that. It talked about tons of family healing, ancestral healing, things like that that we do. So I would suggest watching last night's video. Cool. So I went ahead and shuffled and pulled the cards, since I'm just obviously, since you can see the camera work is so shaky, I'm just holding my camera with my hand and propping my arm up on my knee. But our first card was Healing Family Issues, our favorite. Isn't it wonderful? Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And so, I was going to say, the more you heal your inner child, the more it heals your romantic life. As a partner, it heals your sex drive. There's nothing that ruins a sex drive like inner child issues, and it gets in the way of the romantic eroticism that you have with your partner. You know, you can do a lot of work on having good relationships and good communication, but like making sure that you maintain desire is like a whole nother thing. And so that has a lot to do with inner child healing. So your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So as you're in these, you know, exercises, forgive your parents, try to look at them with compassion, you know, state your boundaries to them on the soul level when you're in these exercises. You know, stand up for yourself like you didn't know how to then. And, you know, in your imagination, you can imagine your parents approaching you differently, right? Being more understanding. Rewrite it in your mind. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference, right? So if you're in an impressionable enough state when you rewrite it, at least you can like offload the virus in your operating system and update your software. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner that you seek. So if your love life is like in a state of pause right now and you feel like you're circling the runway, it's probably because doing the last bit of this family healing is going to set you up for success, so that when the two come together, or when you can like finally like turn the page or turn the corner with the partner that you have, you're set up for success, and you're not like working against yourself still with the same triggers and default settings. You're more aware of it. And then we pulled attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So yeah, use this moment to really just get in touch with yourself, realign with what brings you joy, what brings you passion, what lights you up, what you resonate with on a soul level, because when you're in that mode, your heart is open and you're like in a state of surrender, and you're in the present moment. And in the present, in the now, is the only place that we can really connect to the unconditional love of divine and source and that power, because that's the only thing that's really true. Because source is just this eternal, ever-flowing source of beingness and love. And so it's only found in the now. The past is gone. The future doesn't exist yet. And so the only thing that's really real is now. The only thing, like when we're in the spirit form, when we're in the non-physical, we can't do this work. We can't change. We can't transmute energy. We can't do the soul correction. We might be able to see things from a different perspective, but we can't do the work unless we're here. And so, you know, it's about doing the work while we're here. Sorry, I got kind of distracted because I can see people out of the corner of my eye, and sometimes it looks like they're going to walk over to me and start talking. So yes, be in the moment, and you're going to be opened up, and you're going to be really tuned into your own unique frequency and dial. And so when your heart is open and you're full of love and light and you're like full of yourself, then something truly in resonance with you can like tap onto your signal because it'll be consistent, and what resonates will be attracted to you because your heart will be magnetic. It'll be open, right? You can be really clear about what you want and have a strong desire for it, but unless your heart is open and full of love and feeling love, it won't be magnetic. So we want to have a deep and strong and sustaining desire. We want to have an open heart that fills love and joy. And then let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. You know, part of probably the hardest, trickiest part of manifesting is the surrender, is letting go of control issues, because we can get lost and happy in the moment and then start manifesting something. And then once we like are aware of it happening, we're like, oh, this is great. Oh, I don't want to fuck it up. And then it's like we've already started fucking it up. It's like if you've ever done mushrooms or acid, it's like you get really lost in like the trip, and you're like hallucinating, you're having a lot of fun, and you're seeing things, and you're having these realizations and these revelations, but like the moment you realize that you're high, it's like you just stepped out of it and you broke character, and it's like now you've broken the high, and it's really hard to go back to where you were. So that is literally the moment of the buzzkill. But yeah, so trying to, you know, trying is already like going against surrendering, but just allowing, you know, it is or it isn't, like it'll happen or it won't. If it's meant to be, it'll be, and if not, it won't be. Like if the creator sends it to you, then great, then it's meant to be. If it's in resonance, it'll stick, and if not, then it won't. And what if there are no mistakes? What if we thought we were going to be supported in any decision that we made? The creator's just waiting for you to be decisive. You know, who knows? Who really knows? But we can't know until we try. And, you know, some things are definitely worth the risk. I mean, you know, especially romance. Like, I'm not going to go hiding under a rock. I'm going to keep taking the hits until one sticks. I'm going to try to put myself in like the best state that I can be in, and I think that the more fulfilled that I am, the less needy I am for a relationship. And so it's really fun, you know, being out in the world and living life and not feeling any sense of anything missing. And that way, as I meet people and I evaluate them and get to know them, I'm not trying to fill a void. And I'm certainly not going to fill my space with something that's not making my life better, or that's not really in alignment or in resonance, you know, because I'm happy on my own and I'm fulfilled on my own. And that makes me it makes it safe for me to take that risk. It makes it that's when it's safe for you to love. It's like, are you happy on your own? You know, because then you don't need someone else. You're not looking for that, right? So then you're a lot more relaxed to see how things play out, because you see the value in being relaxed and seeing who people really are. Like when left, you know, when you're not neurotic about the energy and the connection and where it's going or who the person is, it's like you just get to know each other over time. You let go of control issues, and that's usually how things go better, because then people feel they can take it, pace it, you know, as they get to know each other. So, and then you get to see people over a course of time, you know, and watch their patterns, and not just see, you know, whenever they're putting their best foot forward in the moment. So let go of control issues. Also, you know, the last thing you want to do is you're like meeting people and dating and getting to know people is show up with an agenda all the time. And I think that is also kind of what kills attraction. It's like there's a difference between, you know, being curious and like having a sense of fun and seeing where it's going, and then also like it's a fine line of when you start having control issues about wanting it to happen. It's like you can start getting kind of controlling about it, or neurotic, and so then you're overthinking your moves. It's not natural anymore. You're overthinking theirs, and then it's becoming about strategy and ego games, and I don't know. So let go of control issues. That way it's authentic, it's honest, right? And it can be, organic, resonate, harmonious. Make love, not war. All right, you guys. Well, I'm losing light out here. We're burning daylight. I'm gonna go march back over to my car and maybe venture out for some provisions at my local grocery and call it a day.